It's my birthday. 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 Hey, 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 hey. Hey guys, thank y'all so much for all the birthday wishes. I had a great day, and so I'm going to be celebrating my birthday all week. I'm on vacation. I just want to relax and enjoy myself. But before I go in the house for the night, I wanted to do this video to tell y'all a story about how I recently almost ended YouTube and ended my marriage journey. I'm going to tell y'all this story tonight. But before I tell y'all that story, I'm going to go inside, get in my robe, and relax a little bit. And then I'm going to share that story with you guys tonight. Stay tuned. Okay, guys, so I am back. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully you can see me. It's late. I'm a little bit tired. And a lot of times when I'm tired, getting ready for bed, I'm just in a relaxed mood. If you see me looking in any type of way, just excuse me and know that I'm tired. It's been a long day. And so, what I wanted to talk to you guys about is why I almost ended YouTube as well as ended my marriage journey. Now, as many of you guys may know, I have gotten on here a lot to talk about marriage. I've given prophetic words around marriage. And overall, I feel like I've tried to encourage a lot of you guys. And so, one morning not long ago, um, I woke up and I was just feeling different. And I was feeling different in regards to my marriage journey. Now, God specifically told me to get on YouTube and start talking about marriage. This was before I had a channel or anything. He specifically told me to get on, start talking about marriage. Mind you guys, I didn't know anything about a kingdom marriage, a God ordained marriage, or any of that because I've never been married before, but I was being led by the Holy Spirit in terms of what to say to you guys. As many of you guys may know, I am somebody that is a big dreamer. God communicates with me a lot through dreams, visions. I'm able to hear in the spirit, so on and so forth. And so that is how I am able to give you guys prophetic words based on what God communicates to me. And so one morning, like I said, I woke up and I was just feeling different. And the way that I was feeling, I was tired. I was tired, okay? Like I told you guys in the past, I am walking this walk with you guys. A lot of you guys are standing and believing for a ordained marriage that is ordained by God, a kingdom marriage that is put in place by God. I am on that same journey, okay? And so, as much as I have tried to encourage you guys, it is not always easy for me. I know a lot of times I have told you, if you start feeling weary, if you feel like giving up, then that means you're not busy enough. Anybody knows me knows that I am always busy, okay? I am always busy doing something. I am probably one of the hardest working people you will ever meet. There is not enough time in a day to do what I need to do on a day-to-day basis. That's how busy I am. And sometimes I just have to take a break because it can be a lot, you know? But I woke up one morning and I was just feeling tired. And I don't know if it was the enemy. I don't know what it was, but I was tired. And I told God, I am tired. I'm not doing YouTube anymore. I'm not doing this marriage journey anymore. I am just tired. Okay? I'm tired. And I'm sharing this with you guys because I would like to be as relatable as I can to you guys. A lot of people that have YouTube channels, they're talking about this, they're talking about that. And a lot of these people, they pretend like they have it all together, like they don't go through anything. Many of you guys know I get on here and I tell you the real in terms of what I have been going through. Okay, because I am human just like you. Prophetic people are not perfect. In fact, we probably go through more than the average person. Okay, and so I just told God I was tired. I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't do YouTube anymore. I couldn't get on here and give you guys prophetic words about marriage anymore. I was no longer standing and believing for this marriage that God has promised me. And why? Because of the weight. Because of the weight. See, what a lot of you guys don't know, and maybe some of you guys can relate to this. Before I knew anything about a God ordained marriage, a kingdom marriage, the person that God told me was my husband. I was praying for this person long before I even knew anything about a God ordained or a kingdom marriage. Praying for them long before then, okay? Believing God for this person long before. Probably even before God has started confirming that this was my person. Okay. And so when I think about the time, it's like, God, how long does this really take? How long does this really take? Because, and I wasn't mad at God, but I was at a point where I'm like, God, if you wanted to bring change to this man, if you wanted to do this and that with him, you could have did it like that. Okay, here it is. I've been standing in the gap for X amount of time. I'm tired. I can't do this anymore. And the fact that I can't do this anymore, that means I can't do YouTube anymore, because I'm not going to get on here and lie to these people when I'm going through XYZ, when I'm feeling this way, when I'm feeling that way. I can't do it. So I have to give it all up. I'm ready to move on with my life. I'm ready to move on. I don't want him anymore, because like I said, I feel like if God, if you wanted us together, you could have changed this man like that. A lot of people talk about free will, but we really do not have free will like people think we do. I've talked about this in videos. I don't feel like we have free will at all. God will allow us to continue to do this, that, and the other, continue to make mistakes until we burn ourselves out, until we get to the point where we can't take it anymore. We've tried it our way for so long, and then we're going to have to come running back to him. So he'll let us continue to mess up and burn ourselves out, but ultimately, we're going to have to submit to the will of God. I don't feel like we have free will. And so this is how I was feeling with this man. This is how I was feeling. And so I told God, I'm just done with it. I'm done. I'm done. Even though I'm busy, I'm done. And so I've been here a time or two where I said I'm throwing in the towel. And every time I say I'm throwing in the towel, God begins to overwhelm me with dreams. Jennifer, this is what you're giving up. If you don't stand for what I promised you, this is what you're giving up. This is what you are giving up. This is what's going to happen to this man if you no longer stand for what I told you to stand for. Like, people say God is really into the details. He's really into the details when it comes to these dreams and communicating certain things. And these were dreams of warning that he was giving me. And I'll have to talk to you guys about dreams in another video, but I've been researching dreams a lot because I'm a heavy dreamer. So I'm going to continue to study dreams, and then I may share some different things with you guys. But one of the dreams that God gives us, he gives us dreams of warning. And so that's what he started to give me, overwhelming me with dreams. This is what you're giving up. If you're walking away from what I promised you, you're going to do this life alone. You're going to do this life alone. You can go out and date a counterfeit. You can go out and date a counterfeit, but nothing is going to come of it. Nothing is going to come of it. Nothing is going to come of it because that's not my plan for you. You're doing that on your own. So, since I've been talking about this whole marriage thing, I've always said to you guys that I feel like we have one person that is for us, and that is who the person that God has chosen for us. One person. We don't have all these multiple people. Then I look at other people that have basically been able to come together with their person. They've been introduced in some type of way. And I question if these people are really who God put in place for these people, or if God just allowed these people to make a choice. What I do know is God has called certain people to do a work on this earth. And when it comes to marriage, there are certain couples, there are two people that he has called to walk together to do a certain walk on this earth. And so with that being said, we have a choice to make. We can say yes or no, but if we say no, things that God had in place for us is not going to turn out the way we think it's going to turn out. And so, like I said, God would start to overwhelm me with these dreams, showing me, Jennifer, I need you to hang on. You're making the wrong choice. And you want to know something crazy? So I'm going to be honest with you guys. Is this a space where I can just be all the way honest without judgment? I'm sharing this with you guys because I know a lot of you guys have experienced the same thing. Like when I say I was done this time, I was done because I realized this don't take this long for this to come together. Now, I've told you guys in the past, there are certain things that we're obviously not doing when it comes to what God has instructed us to do, and that can delay the promise. That can delay the promise. Whatever promise God has given you, whether it's marriage, whether it's a career, whether it's a family, whatever, if you're not following the instructions of God to the T, you can delay the promises of God. This is what I have told you guys. And I know that there are still things that God wants me to work on. I know that before the marriage comes together, there's still things that he has specifically told me that I need to work on. But that doesn't dismiss the fact of me being tired at times, okay? How many of you guys can relate to that? That doesn't dismiss the fact of me being tired. Like I said, I was praying for this man long before I knew anything about a kingdom marriage. So that's a lot. That's a lot. And then this is this other side where these people that's out in the world that's prodigals. It can be a lot where you are doing mostly, because like I said, some of us, we still gotta do some work that God has told us to do. But for the most part, we're doing what God has called us to do. We're living for God. We're believing for these promises. We're doing the work of the Lord. We're doing ministry, all these different things. We're praying for this person, but this person, they're out there doing whatever they want to do. I'm going to keep it real with you guys because I know there may be a lot of judgment behind this video from people that's watching it, but I told God a long time ago, if I cannot be myself on here, I can't do YouTube at all. I don't know another person on YouTube that's going to keep it real with you guys like this. This is the only way that I know to be. And like I said, I am walking this journey with you guys. I have no choice but to keep it real. And so, like I said, you're living for God, but then you have this person that God says, this person belongs to you. You guys are going to be doing X, Y, Z. You're going to have a beautiful life together. This is going to happen. That's going to happen. But while you're praying, while you're, walking in purpose, while you're doing God's work, you have this person. Give me 1 second. You have this person that is doing whatever they want to do in the world. They're doing whatever they want to do. So when you think about that, that can be a hard thing. That can be a hard thing. I know God says, focus on what I told you to focus on me. But again, we are human. I don't encourage anyone to stay, dwell there. Focus on what God told you to do. But again, we are human. So we're going to have these feelings from time to time. We're going to have these feelings. And so that's not an easy thing to walk in purpose. Do what God has called you to do. Pray for this person, this, that, and the other. But this person is doing what they want to do. They are doing what they want to do. So now I'm getting to the point where I want to do what I want to do. I want to do what I want to do because, again, I am human, Lord. I'm human and I'm tired. I'm tired. And so the crazy part about it, I told God I was done. I couldn't do this anymore. I just woke up one morning and I was just tired. I said, I can't do another day of this. Not another day. Not another second, not another minute, not another hour. I can't do this at all. I am tired. I'm worn out. I'm tired. And like I said, I'm not going to get on here and lie. I'm not going to get, so Lord, I'm done with YouTube too. And so, like I said, the Lord, he begins to overwhelm me with dreams, When it comes to YouTube, there's a former friend that I went to grammar school with. I went to high school with. I knew her in my adult life. But God told me to separate from her long ago because certain things that was going on. He told me to separate her. But I was the one that initially encouraged her to get on YouTube because she really had she was meant to speak. She has a very powerful voice. She has a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience, so on and so forth. Long story short, every time I've said I'm done with YouTube, God will flash her up and down my timeline on YouTube. I'm not following this girl. I never watch her videos. Gotta start giving me dreams about her. And this is God letting me know it's time for you to get back on YouTube. So not only is he giving me the dreams and her up and down my timeline on YouTube, he's giving me dreams about the future regarding my future husband when it comes to us getting married, how things are going to turn out if I don't follow through. Okay. And so not only that, he has my brother to start calling me out of the blue. Like, me and my brother, we're very close, but we don't talk a lot about my future husband. Unfortunately, he never got a chance to meet my future husband because he lives in another state. But he knows, he doesn't know about the kingdom marriage thing and all that other stuff. I tried to explain it to him, but a lot of people, if they're not living it, they don't understand it. And so one day, after I said I'm done with everything, I said I'm gonna show God how much I'm serious this time. I'm done. I'm done. I'm all the way done. I went and started a dating profile. I'm giving you guys this in a raw. I don't need no judgment, because this journey, this is not for the weak. And like I said, we're all human. I'm human. So I don't need the judgment. I don't need any of it. I'm sharing this with you guys to let you know I understand. I understand. And some people say, oh, you get on here and you give too much of yourself. I don't know any other way to be. This is the only way I know to be. So I said, I'm going to show God I'm not returning to this. I started a dating profile, okay? And so right when I was about to actually create the dating profile, my brother calls me. While I'm creating a dating profile, my brother calls me and says, I'm not going to say my future husband's name, but he said, what would it take for you to give your future husband another chance? What would he have to do? We had not talked about this man in months. It may have been over a year. Right while I'm creating the dating profile, this is what he calls me and asks me. This is nothing but God all day long. And so we talked for a little bit. I think he had to get off the phone or something like that. And we briefly talked or whatever. I was telling him I'm done. And so I want to say some days later, he ends up calling me again. And I'm in prayer at this time. Usually when I go into prayer, I turn my phone on do not disturb, or I'll put it on sleep mode or whatever. Somehow he was able to get through. Now I'm in prayer, having conversation with God. And the only reason I picked up because he kept calling, I thought maybe it was an emergency or something. And I'm in prayer having conversation about my future husband. And I'm not in a good place with this. Because at this point, like I said, God done gave me dreams, blah, blah, blah. And again, I'm tired. I'm ready to move on. So my brother, he calls me. He's able to get through. And he said, we never finished talking about the situation with your future husband. What would he have to do? Long story short, this man called me like 3 times. My brother called me like 3 times. And it was just really ironic how every time he called, it was me either pushing a button to move forward with my life, me having conversation with God, it was something going on in regards to my future marriage journey. And I know God was trying to use him to get my attention. See, we don't think that God is zooming in on every part of our lives, every second of our lives. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And so I think, oh Lord, I think that after God gave me those dreams, because God, when he gives me dreams, sometimes the dreams really be out there. Like, Lord, okay, I hear you. You didn't scare me. Like I said, they were warning dreams. And so after so long of feeling a certain way, God was able to reel me back in, or whatever the case may be. And so here I am. Here I am back on this journey. Back on this journey. I mean, we all have our moments. It hasn't been a lot with me, but I will say anytime that I'm dealing with something and I feel like giving up, I have my moment. I don't stay gone too long. But what I've come to the conclusion of is, I know God is not a liar. He's going to fulfill what he said he's going to fulfill. He's going to do what he said he's going to do. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I know that God is not a liar. And with that being said, let's just say if this thing never came together, which I don't think that that's going to be the case, because I don't think God would do that. Let's just say the thing never came together. I'm okay with being single. If it can't be with who God has put in place for me, I will have to be okay with being single. I will have to prepare myself to be single, because I'm not going to be with another man. Because no plan is more perfect than God's plan. There's a reason that God will give me these warning dreams. This is why I've been telling you guys that the marriages are bigger than us. There is something that me and my future husband, we're supposed to do on this earth for the kingdom of God. And I feel like it's going to be a really big assignment. God has already shown me some of it through dreams. It's going to be a really big assignment. And so this is why God is constantly nudging me and warning me, saying, no, you got to hang in here. You got to hang in here. And here's why. So if it never ever happens, let's just say I'm prepared to walk out this life by myself. But do I think that's going to happen? No. No. Because God knows the beginning and the end, right? He knows how this is going to turn out. So I have no choice but to ride it out. But is this a difficult journey? It's not for the weak. It's definitely not for the weak. Baby, you need some pie. Is it pie from back in the day? Some pie muscles. Some extra strength spinach to get you through this journey, because it can be a lot. It can be a lot. And like I said, maybe it was the enemy that was trying to get me to focus on the fact, okay, I was doing this before I even knew it was a kingdom marriage, a kingdom spouse, kingdom anything. Before I knew any of that, I was already in it. But now I'm really in it. And so I decided to share this with you guys because, once again, I want you to know that I understand that this is not an easy journey. I've read comments where people are saying that they're crying out to the Lord. They don't know how much more to take. There's been very few things in my life where it has been very challenging. I want to say maybe like 3, maybe 4 at the most, that has been very challenging in my life. And this right here, this journey is one of them. I've never been through anything like this in my life. So Guys, all I can say is just hang in there. That's all I can say. And now I think about the fact that here's something else, and maybe I'll make it another video. I don't know. But for the most part, I have a lot of men coming after me. I have a lot of men. Like, I've had men that has had it all together. They got businesses. These men, some of these men, they got $1,000,000 homes. They're doing really well for themselves. Okay. Some of them, they are, they are men of faith. Really nice men. I've been meeting so many nice men lately. Okay, it's like, where were you guys at when before I was doing all of this? Where were you guys at before I was doing all of this with this journey? And so for the most part, I have been able to turn these men away. Like I told you guys in the video 2 days ago, I don't understand men because basically, I just don't understand men when it comes to relationships, when it comes to not relationships, but more so friendships. Men, they always have ulterior motive. You know what I'm saying? They're not just trying to be your friend for the most part. They come off nice, but then they really got something else in mind. And so I've been dealing with that lately. But for the most part, I've been able to turn them away and just keep it moving. And so honestly, I've had 2 situations where there was temptation. Now, I did not give in, but again, we are human. What it boils down to is your decision. What are you going to do? You can have this temptation, but what are you actually going to do? And so I experienced this with a classmate of mine last year before I graduated. Okay. The man was really coming out after me, had it all together, but I basically ran from him every time he tried to talk to me for the most part. I don't know. I think I was trying to maybe, befriend him, or God wouldn't let any of it happen. God wouldn't let nothing happen on any type of level. And like I said, for the most part, I ran. Now, this situation with this older guy, I asked God, why all of a sudden is this heavy temptation coming up against me with men? And I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I don't know how many of you guys have dealt with temptation while you're on this journey. Do I love my future husband? Yes, I do. I know, baby, let me just tell you this. I'm not the average woman, okay? And it takes a special man to deal with me. And I know he is the only man that would be able to deal with me. I'm just going to keep it real with you guys. I'm going to keep it totally real, okay? And so that is another reason there could only be one. There could only be one that can really handle you the way you need to be handled. Only one that you can handle the way only you can do it, if that makes sense. And so this last time around, like I said, I did a video about why do men have to be like this. I'm so disappointed. And that's because all these guys, it's like, I've always had guys that have tried to get with me, but now it's like these men are coming by the boatloads, okay? And I'm trying to understand what is going on. And it's like, these are men that I'm just thinking that I can be cool with. Well, I guess it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And so I think this last time around with this older guy, I was really disappointed. Let me tell you guys this. This is how, and God shared this with me. I don't date, I've never dated older guys before. I've never been into older men. Yes, I may go like 5 years older than me, maybe 2 or 3 years younger than me, but I have never been into older men that are several years older than me. When I tell you there's been a heavy spirit of temptation that has come with this man that has revealed his feelings to me. I'm like, Lord, what is going on? What? Because I don't, God even showed me, you don't even like older men. You don't even like men this age. And so I asked the Lord, why is this temptation coming up against me in this way all of a sudden? I've never had this issue before. He said that the enemy is trying to get you to abandon your marriage promise. See, what many of you guys don't understand, you are a threat. You and your future mate, you guys are a threat to the kingdom of darkness. So get prepared for these things to come that you don't expect, even after the marriage. This is why you have to stay prayed up. You have to live a fasted lifestyle. I have to even get in the habit of fasting more. I'm trying to get back on track with that. But yeah, the enemy, like I told you guys before, he's crafty. He's gonna come with these different things out of left field when you least expect it. I've never even been into older men. So now I'm sitting here, I gotta battle my flesh against this situation. And don't get me wrong, again, I love the man that God chose for me, but at the end of the day, we are flesh as well. We are flesh and we have to fight that. So I know that this is nothing but the enemy trying to come up against me. And that's trying to get me to abandon this marriage promise because I've never been into older guys before. I've never been into older guys before. So I just wanted to share this with you guys. I don't know. Hopefully this was of help to somebody. I'm sure many of you guys can relate. The being tired. I hate using the word the weight, I hate using that, but it can be a lot, guys. And then when you think about it, you're standing for somebody that's living out in the world doing XYZ, okay? And then you have these other sets of men that appear to have it all together, that want to get to know you, that want to pursue you, that want to date you, and you can't do it, but you're standing for somebody that's doing wrong. That's I'm not fighting against or going against what God has put in place, but when you think about it, that can be a lot. That can be a lot. So again, guys, just hang in there. I'm not going to abandon the promises of God because I know God has already shown me if I do that, it is not going to end up well for you. It's not going to end up well for you, Jennifer. So you need to follow your father's directions and trust me. So like I said, guys, I just wanted to share this with you guys. I wanted to encourage you to say, hang in there. I know it is not easy, but God's plan for your life, for your marriage journey, it is perfect. It is going to be like nothing that you ever imagined when it come together. Is going to be 10 times better than that. But if you have a moment, don't beat yourself up. Just keep trusting God. That is it. That is all, guys. Until next time, this is your girl, Jennifer Land, the Crown Jewel. Good night, guys.